Can Jake Paul disappoint the MMA community once again as he takes on Anderson Silva? See who fighters are picking in the latest edition of MMA Pros Pick.
I mean, Anderson's really good. But one thing that people miss is he's also very tough. And in this sport or in any sport, you don't have to be. If you can be a champion just by being more technically proficient than everyone else, or you can do it by having more grit and pushing harder, right? Like called the Justin Gaethje approach. But Anderson's both, and people miss that. If I was to use MMA terms, you go show me a 5th round, and he was the king of the 5-rounders. I mean, he was in a 5-round fight, his second match into the UFC, and his last match, he was the main event. He's the king of the 5-rounders. You go show me a 5th round that Anderson Silva lost, and you might be able to produce it, but I can't think of it. And that includes over Nick Diaz, who is known for those 4th and 5th rounds. Anderson Silva can hold up. He's extremely durable. Anderson Silva should have lost to Chavez Jr. Not only because the judges should have given it to Chavez, because that's what they do in boxing. He should not have been able to hold up. If you remember Conor McGregor, he represented himself in our sport very well against Floyd, but he should have faded about 3 or 4 rounds in. He made it a half an hour, but he never should have made it 12 rounds. And I mean, I just bring that to you. It's a different endurance. Anderson Silva holds up. People always miss his grit. They miss what a competitor he is. And I think that's going to be on display. I think that Jake's going to fight him, though. I think Jake's going to walk right out there and go for it.
In terms of size, it's a fair size fight now, finally, for Jake Paul. You know, he's not fighting 5'7" Tyrone Woodley. I think Anderson, it's hard to say, man. Youth is a real thing, you know, and this kid's working pretty hard, Jake Paul, you know. It's not like he's just like, oh, yeah, I'm a fighter, and he's just not doing anything. He's working every day, you know what I'm saying? So, but the lifetime experience for Anderson, I mean, I got to go with Anderson, you know. He's an MMA legend. He is, not just because he's an MMA, but his striking is legendary, you know. What he did to all those guys coming up with Jada Forrest and Stephen Bonner and everyone, dude. Rich Franklin, it was crazy. Yeah, so I'm going to have to go with Anderson. I think it's an interesting fight. I'm sure a lot of people will tune in and all that stuff, but we'll see.
Anderson Silva, let's go. Some MMA redemption in boxing.
Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. I am huge fan Anderson Silva. When I starting fight train MMA, this guy was champion. I am big fan, and I think Anderson Silva win the boxing match.
I mean, based on like Anderson's recent fights, like he can still fight. So, but man, like Father Time waits for nobody. So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I think that I would say Anderson Silva is a significant step up in competition compared to anyone Jake's fought. I think that's fair to say as far as boxing wise. But yeah, I mean, I I'm impressed with Jake. I think that he keeps getting better. I think he shows that every time he fights, he keeps getting better. He's obviously, you know, got all the resources and the tools to, you know, have the best training camp possible, and he's obviously utilizing it. I'll go with Anderson Silva.
I believe Anderson. I think that you know, Jake's definitely, if it's like a first round or second round, some kind of like something catches him, I think maybe he has a pretty good chance. But I think he's young and hungry. That's the only scary part of it. But I'm picking Anderson, and I want Anderson to win. But you know, if Jake tags him, man, he's got the talent for sure. He's got the power and the youth to hurt him for sure. Anderson Silva.
Man, I want, you know, Anderson Silva, but then part of me wants Jake Paul to keep this thing going, man. I really want to box that guy someday. You know, I think that'd be an awesome fight and very lucrative as well. So if that door opens, I'd be jumping all over it. But I think I'm going to give the edge to Jake Paul, a little bit younger, has a lot of power. And either way, it's going to be a great fight. I know Anderson's not going to, and a lot of people are saying, you know, looking at Anderson and taking a dive. I don't see that at all. I don't think he would ever do that. He's got too much respect for the game. And, you know, it's going to be a fun fight. I'm definitely going to tune in.
Anderson Silva, all the way, of course.
Okay.
I never pick against him.
Anderson Silva. I can't go against him. you know, I'm not a Jake Paul hater. I actually kind of like what he's doing. Respect to anyone who actually has a crack, and if he's making money doing it, good on him. But for that one, I just got to back Anderson.
Oh man, I don't even know what to think of that one, but I think I'm gonna say Jake Paul by knockout.
I gotta go. I gotta go for my MMA guys.
Anderson Silva. If Anderson Silva, it's gonna break my heart if Paul knocks out Anderson Silva. But man, I hope Anderson gets it done.
Every time I doubt that guy, he Jake Paul. I mean, he goes out and wins. So I just think that he's gonna win somehow.
You know what though? I hope Anderson Silva wins that. It's because that dude, I tell you what, that dude to be doing it at the age that he's at right now, he's crushing it, and he's having a resurgence. So I put on Anderson.
No, I'm gonna have to go with MMA guy. Anderson Silva. I think he's a little too crafty. I think he's gonna probably get a decision. I don't think he will finish Jake, but.
Man, I hope that Anderson Silva can get it done. He's such a legend, but Jake Paul's a real deal. You got to respect him. He looks like he's training the right way. Who knows if he's USADA approved or not, but it looks like he's actually, putting the work in, and he's picking his opponents the right way. Anderson Silva's what, like 46 or something. So it's like the young lion against the old dog, and it'll be a good fight. But I'm hoping that Anderson Silva still got it, and he could go out there and weather the storm that is Jake Paul, and get it done. It's so hard, man. I'm not putting any money on it, but I'm gonna pick Anderson Silva. He's especially. You see Anderson, he's boxed a little, he beat Chavez or something. Seeing and then he knocked out Tito, which Anderson's at least boxing a little, and so it'll be interesting though.
Jake's shown that he could punch, so obviously any fighter's always got a puncher's chance. You got to land one right on the button, and that's it. Anderson's a little bit older, but it doesn't take away from his skill set. He's phenomenal on the feet. He can move. Definitely moves a lot better than Jake does. But it'll be interesting for sure. I think Anderson can pull it off if he sticks to his defense, head movement, stuff like that. Picks him apart. Takes a little bit of a boxer's approach and doesn't exchange in the brawls and stuff. I think he comes away with it.
We hope Anderson wins that boxing match. So, I'll be rooting for Anderson. He's always been a top guy I like watching for a long time, all the way to his Pride days. A guy that's just been exceptional for a long time. I'll be rooting for the veteran there.